UFO sightings, hoax moon landings, reptiles who rule the world. What convinces a person to believe in conspiracy theories? Today in this video we are going to find out exactly that. Lack of control. According to a pair of new studies published in the journal Applied Cognitive Psychology, conspiracy theories tend to have one thing in common: they feel a lack of control over their lives. Although conspiracy beliefs can occasionally be based on rational analysis of the evidence, most of the time they are not. As a species, one of our greatest strengths is our ability to find meaningful patterns in the world around us and to make causal inferences. We sometimes, however, see patterns and causal connections that are not there, especially when we feel that events are beyond our control. Jan William van Pruijsen, Associate Professor in Social and Organizational Psychology at VU University Amsterdam, has been studying conspiracy theories and those who believe them for 6 years. He says, "When I started this research, one of the things that I really found astonishing was how many people believe in certain conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories often crop up during times of uncertainty and fear, after terrorist strikes, financial crises, high-profile deaths, and natural disasters. Past research suggests that if people feel they don't have control over a situation, they will try to make sense of it and find out what happened. The sense-making leads them to connect dots that aren't necessarily connected in reality," as per Van Pruijsen. He and his team showed that the opposite is also true. Feeling a sense of control is protective against believing conspiracy theories. In one of the studies, they split 119 people into two groups and told one group to write down times when they were totally in control. The other group was told to jot down a time when they didn't feel in control. The researchers then surveyed their attitudes on a building project in Amsterdam that accidentally destroyed the foundations of many houses, and which many people believe was a conspiracy of the city council. But those who had been primed to feel in control were less likely to believe the government was up to something evil. He says, "We found that if you give people a feeling of control, then they are less inclined to believe those conspiracy theories. Giving people a sense of control can make them less suspicious of our governmental operations." Connecting dots that don't exist. Facts and rational arguments really aren't very good at altering people's beliefs. That's because our rational brains are fitted with not so evolved evolutionary hardwiring. One of the reasons why conspiracy theories spring up with such regularity is due to our desire to impose structure on the world and an incredible ability to recognize patterns. Indeed, a recent study showed a correlation between an individual's need for structure and tendency to believe in a conspiracy theory. Take this sequence for example. Can you see a pattern? Quite possibly, and you aren't alone. A quick Twitter poll suggested that 56% of people agree with you, even though the sequence was generated by flipping a coin. It seems our need for structure and our pattern recognition skill can be rather overactive, causing a tendency to spot patterns like constellations, clouds that look like dogs, and vaccines causing autism, where in fact there are none. Peer pressure. Another reason we are so keen to believe in conspiracy theories is that we are social animals and our status in the society is much more important than being right. Consequently, we constantly compare our actions and beliefs to those of our peers and then alter them to fit in. This means that if our social group believes something, we are more likely to follow the herd. This effect of social influence on behavior was nicely demonstrated back in 1961 by the street corner experiment conducted by the US social psychologist Stanley Milgram and colleagues. The experiment was simple enough for you to replicate. Just pick a busy street corner and stare at the sky for 60 seconds. Most likely very few folks will stop and check what you are looking at. In this situation, Milgram found that about 4% of the passers-by joined in. Now get some friends to join you with your lofty observations. As the group grows, more and more strangers will stop and stare aloft. By the time the group has grown to 15 sky gazers, about 40% of the bypassers will have stopped and craned their necks along with you. You have almost certainly seen the same effect in action at markets where you find yourself drawn to the stand with the crowd around it. The principle applies just as powerfully to ideas. If more people believe in a piece of information, then we are more likely to accept it as true. Boomerang Effect. Presenting corrective information to a group with firmly held beliefs can actually strengthen their view despite the new information undermining it. New evidence creates inconsistencies in our beliefs and an associated emotional discomfort. But instead of modifying our belief, we tend to invoke self-justification and even stronger dislike of the opposing theories, which can make us more entrenched in our views. This has become known as the Boomerang Effect, and it is a huge problem when trying to nudge people towards better behaviors. For example, if you give someone evidence against a conspiracy theory he believes in, it is more likely that the person would consider the evidence as part of the conspiracy. Feeling unique. Two separate studies have suggested why people think the moon landings were fake, vaccines cause autism, and more. This suggests people might believe in conspiracy theories in order to feel unique. As picked up by SciPost, the two studies are available in Social Psychology and the European Journal of Social Psychology. The former was titled I Know Things They Don't Know. More than 1,000 people took part. The researchers found that people who supported conspiracy theories were more likely to think they had information no one else had. They also found that those who wanted to be more unique were also more likely to believe a particular theory. The same was true for people that were encouraged to be unique. These studies suggest that conspiracy theories may serve people's desire to be unique, highlighting a motivation and underpinning of conspiracy belief. In the second study, more than 1,000 participants were also used, titled Too Special to be Dubbed. It found that the desire to stick out from the crowd drove irrational beliefs. In 3 experiments, they found similar findings, namely people who wanted to be unique were more likely to believe and endorse conspiracy theories. They also found that a conspiracy theory that was made up received more support when participants were told only a minority of people believed it. Together, these findings support the notion that conspiracy beliefs can be adopted as a means to attain a sense of uniqueness. So the next time someone tells you the Bermuda Triangle is swallowing planes or the Illuminati run the world, remember they are probably just looking to stand out. We evolved to be suspicious. The evolution of language enhanced our ability to communicate, seek advice, deceive others, and police cheaters, all of which made survival a more complicated endeavor. Research suggests that human brain size drastically increased to accommodate new cognitive mechanisms that could deal with verbally encoded information. The purpose of many of these mechanisms is to detect when someone is intentionally or accidentally deceiving us. For example, we might evaluate a speaker's voice pitch, accent, word choice, grammatical errors, and speed of delivery to determine if they are trustworthy. We will also examine facial features, physical behavior, and assess the social status, authority, and prestige of the speaker. These judgments are based on past experiences, the testimony of others, cultural norms, and genetic biases such as the tendency to trust people who look and sound similar to ourselves or family. Thus, some people believe in wacky conspiracy theories because their elevated suspicion is a natural and necessary extreme of the human condition. None of the above should indicate that all conspiracy theories are false. Some of them have turned out to be true in the past, but some of the theories are just too far-fetched from reality, like the flat earth theory. Sometimes there is just way too much evidence that the US government doesn't control every single thing on the planet.